In the following video, a young teenager by the name of Miguel was staying at his auntie's house with his parents and cousin due to her passing away recently. They were sent to help empty and clear the house, which was a controversial decision in itself because they were very close with her. As a reward for coming down to help out, Miguel's cousin had been given a brand new cell phone that had been passed down from his auntie. Him and Miguel decided to test out the camera quality on this device by walking around, and it was here that they came across something terrifying.
Oh.
A ver, yo creo que acá uno juega muchas cosas como compite, pero algo que uno nunca puede poner en la palestra a la hora de competir es la salud de uno y a la larga en un futuro jugarse la vida. Yo creo que hay que saber cuándo parar y la verdad doy gracias a Juanito.
¡Chucha!
Out of seemingly nowhere, the cupboard door flew open and it had a lot of significance to their auntie. It was her most used cupboard, and she stored things such as her slippers, toiletries, and more importantly, her memory box inside of it. With this information in hand, experts have deciphered that this spirit was the spirit of their auntie, reminding them that she was still present, despite that presence being spiritual. I doubt the house will sell for much with this information though, which is unfortunate. Hassan was in his bathroom doing a task as simple as brushing his teeth when he noticed that something was off about the place. He explained that a cold and disturbing feeling surrounded the air out of nowhere, and that it was almost as if something else had entered the bathroom with him. This triggered Hassan's natural instincts, and he knew that something was going to happen, so dropped his toothbrush and pulled out his phone, opening the camera app. Did anything actually happen? Well, you'll have to take a look and see.
Se escuchó un ruido aquí en esta parte de la cocina, pero... ¡Ah, caray! ¿Qué fue eso? No manches. ¿Se movió el vaso? ¿O es mi imaginación? Ay, pensé que era mi imaginación. Ah, caray, caray. Qué raro. Yo creo que mejor me voy. Lentes. ¿Qué es eso?
Strangely, the item below the sink started moving without any human interaction, and furthermore, it was beyond evident that there were no strings or anything of that sort attached. After the incident, Hassan stopped the recording and wondered what he should actually do about it. He came to the conclusion that putting the item in the trash would be the best way forward, and so he did it, never seeing the item again. And fortunately, his wishes followed. From this point forwards, Hassan's life was spirit-free. Paranormal activity becomes ever more upsetting when you realize that the majority of the time, the victims are completely and utterly undeserving of the torment. What makes it even worse is when the innocent victim is a child, because they are way too young to be exposed and frightened to such an extent. The following video was filmed by an 11-year-old girl who noticed things moving downstairs. She decided to use her new phone to record what was happening and was frighteningly shouting at her mother to come and aid her due to being overwhelmed with fear. Clearly, the camera aggravated the spirit more though, because this happened.
Mamá, venga, se está moviendo la silla. Mamá. Mamá, venga. Mamá. Mamá. Mamá.
First of all, the chair started rocking, but that was happening beforehand, meaning that it didn't have any correlation to the fact the girl was recording the incident. After recording though, the little car moved on its own accord, followed by a few other things which would have terrified me, let alone a child of such a young age. The video that I am about to expose you to is one of, if not the most mysterious clips on my entire channel. This is because no matter how deep I have attempted to dig, I have found absolutely no background information on it. All we know is that it was presumably captured by a YouTuber called Anonymous Serial because they uploaded it, and that it was posted on August the 19th of 2012. The description also reads, "This video was recorded from an Android phone, making it ever more vague and spooky." Have a look. After analyzing this video, seeking more details, it becomes evident that it was captured within a home, and the person filming is quite young as far as I can tell. Furthermore, the ghost was rather relaxed compared to other ones that we have seen, because all it was doing was opening and closing the fridge, which is nothing too severe whatsoever. I do still hope that whoever recorded this video, from wherever place is okay though, and that they approached this situation and handled it in the correct manner. Luis was not the type to go around exploring haunted facilities for fun, but roughly 1 month after his mother passed away, he decided that he was going to give it a shot. She was buried inside of an old graveyard that was said to be riddled with paranormal activity, and she decided that she wanted her deathbed to be there. This is because she used the logic that if it was a really paranormal place, then the chances were she would become a ghost too, and her family supported her decision despite not being in complete agreement. Anyway, fast forward back to Luis. He came to the decision that he was going to visit the graveyard and see if anything mother-related happened. He went in blind with equipment, and this is what happened.
Mande dijo. Dijo mande. Dijo mande. ¿Hombre o mujer? O se escuchó un hombre. Pero también se escuchó una mujer. Soy Ruth, dijo. Dijo así, no soy Ruth. Oye, Ruth otra vez. Sí, a Ruth dijo. No mames, vete a la... Dijo mi nombre. Luis dijo. Para los que no saben, yo me llamo Luis. A la madre. Dijo mi nombre, plebes. Y no se lo pregunté. No mames. No.
The spirit that was haunting him shortly before this particular clip somehow identified his name, and this led him to believe that it was the ghost of his mother. Furthermore, there was no cold energy around him, which was usually not the case when a poltergeist is present, meaning it must have been a friendly one at the bare minimum. Luis was scared of this presence, but knowing it may have been his mother, persisted through it, and was able to get us another piece of footage to watch.
Sí. ¿Quieres ayuda? Ruth. Sí. ¿Dónde estás? Dime dónde estás exactamente. ¿Dónde estás? ¿Dónde estás? Espera, se me está cayendo esta cosa que tengo. No sé cómo agarrar todo. Perdón, amigos, me está temblando mucho la mano. La busqué entre tumbas, ahí no quiero grabar esa tumba. ¿Dónde estás? Vete a la bestia. ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Hola? ¿Dónde estás?
This time he heard a sound from across the graveyard, and from the sounds of it, it very obviously was not a naturally occurring noise. It was as if something had fallen over. And listen up, because this is where things get interesting. The sound came from nearby to Luis' mother's grave, meaning that it may have been her causing this. He believes that to this day. The time was just 14 past midnight, and Antonio was home alone. His children were staying over at their grandmother's because the house was being renovated, and these renovations were happening above their bedroom, which would have made it impossible for them to sleep. Antonio and his wife were having a long, restless night, so at around 11:45, they decided to give up on sleeping and got back out of bed. It was on his way to the sitting room that Antonio came across something very peculiar, though. Have a watch.
Oh, Claudia, här står. Claudia, här står.
The item moved on its own accord, and it was beyond obvious that there was nothing that could have been interacting with it. Upon several zoom-ins, I was unable to expose any invisible wire or any kind of force acting on the item. After the incident, Antonio took the item out to the trash and told his children that it had broken, promising to purchase them a new one the next time that he got paid. This turned out to be the correct move, because him and his family never noticed anything of the sort again. On December the 5th of 2024, Max and his wife heard some peculiar sounds coming from the guest bedroom. An important note to make before I proceed is that the couple had not had a child together, and they were the only two people living inside of the house, making it impossible for this to have been natural. The time was 11:45, and they had both been watching television in the sitting room when this happened.
Hey. Yeah. Did you hear baby crying? No, I opened the door. Oh, I thought that's why you opened the door. I heard it crying a long time in here.
Out of nowhere, the sound of a baby crying echoed around the entire house, and as I previously mentioned, they did not have any children living inside of the household. Max went inside of the room to investigate the scene, and the camera picked up something shocking following behind, a ghostly orb. This confirmed that the crying had been caused by some sort of spirit, and the family are currently in the process of eradicating it before it becomes too powerful, and it comes to the point where they take action too late. We wish them luck in this, and a priest would likely be the most cost-efficient approach. If you have ever watched a video from this channel before, then there is a 99.9% chance that you have heard of Ian, also known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter. He goes on all sorts of haunting adventures and posts really long videos stacked with clips to his YouTube channel, making it the perfect breeding ground for clips for this channel. The upcoming piece of footage came from a video where he visited a haunted asylum for a ghost hunt, and it definitely lived up to its name. Here is a clip from the video.
Whoa, there's something in that photo. It looks like a figure peeking out of that room. Hello? Is there someone in there? I wonder if this is Lulu's room. I guess there's only one way to find out. Yep, there it is. Lulu, I think I just seen you peering out from your room. Were you watching me? Whoa! Whoa! She just started by! Oh my god! I literally just seen her bolt in here. She just went from right to left. And she ran over somewhere this way. Lulu, I know you're in here. Are you running around your room? Ooh. Whoa. Sorry. You just spooked me a little bit there. Are you making noise over here? Could you make another noise? I'm trying to take a whole bunch of photos. I'm getting orbs. She is definitely in here. You have a very beautiful room, Lulu. Is that one of the cribs? The old cribs that you used when you were a mother? I'm very sorry about the horrible things that happened to you.
It was very obvious that someone or something was inside of the room with him, but whether or not it was who he referred to as Lulu or not is unknown information. What we do know is that despite seeing a figure peeking around the entrance, an orb flying across the room, and an unexplained noise, Ian pushed on through, showing just how brave he really is. Remember to subscribe for more haunting videos, especially considering Ian will be in a lot of them. The following video was captured by Elias Samael, a man of whom has known his situation regarding spirits for a prolonged period of time. It all started a few weeks ago when he noticed some suspicious things happening in his room, and ever since then, it has progressively worsened. The best that Elias could do to counter these hauntings was order a Ouija board and give it a try a couple of times, but unfortunately he failed, and the spirit continued to strike like it did in this short clip. Have a watch.
Amigos, sigo escuchando ruido. No sé qué, hasta cuándo va a terminar esto. ¿Qué? Se oye como que un niño llora. Esto no tenía por qué haberse movido. Por favor, ya que termine esto ya. No sé cómo hacer para cerrar esto. No sé qué pasa.
Elias, clearly in fear and panic, had no idea what to do when he saw the figure fly into the air and simply continued to stand there and film the instance, entering freeze mode rather than fight or flight. Moments later, he heard some inexplicable sounds coming from the other side of his door, and out of complete last resort conclusions, stopped the recording, hoping that this would incentivize the attention-seeking poltergeist to give it a break. Sadie was living a difficult life at home and pinned it down to the fact that her house was haunted. It took her a very long period of time to come to this bold conclusion, and when she did, she made her decision almost immediately. She would be moving house and relocating to a completely different city. Due to the distance between the cities, though, she had to stay elsewhere whilst her belongings were transported to the new house, and so she got in touch with an old friend and her husband. With open arms, they allowed Sadie into their home and made her feel welcome, allowing her to stay for a week free of charge, providing she brought her own food. I doubt they would have been so generous if they had known that Sadie's spirit had followed her to this new location.
Son las... no sé si se alcanza a ver, las 3 de la mañana con 1 minuto, y mi hermana me acaba de levantar porque dice que se escuchan ruidos en el cuarto. Mi esposo y mi niña están dormidos y vamos a ir a ver qué se escucha en el cuarto. No hay nadie, solamente estamos mi hermana, mi hija, mi esposo y yo. Aquí en este cuarto está solo porque en estos últimos días nadie ha podido dormir aquí. Como podrán ver, el cuarto está totalmente solo y pues nadie duerme aquí, solo estamos nosotros. Mi hermana dice que se escuchan cosas, pero... ay, me asusté. Pero no sé, pues no se oye nada. No sabe. Amor. Amor, levántate. Levántate porque allá le pegaron a la puerta. No sé qué pasó. Vinimos Sara y yo. Se escuchó la puerta. Se escuchó la puerta. Mira, acabamos de venir y no estaba así. Todos los cajones están abiertos. Oh, Dios. Pero...
¿el cuarto? ¿Se movió en el cuarto?
esa. La niña está dormida. Estamos solos. esposo anda viendo. ¿Qué fue eso? ¿Qué es, amor?
Movió la puerta, no sé qué. ¿Qué va a caer aquí? Nada. A ver, espérate.
No hay nada. No hay nada en el baño.
From mysterious banging noises to cupboards that should not have opening, it was clear that something paranormal was going on here, and considering Sadie's history, the family hosting her were quick to point fingers. They instantly changed their minds about letting Sadie have a free stay, and charged a ridiculous rent, which she reluctantly had to accept because she had nowhere else to go. You bet that the hauntings continued, and they became even worse than the first. This time around, the time was 3 a.m., and all three of the residents were awoken by mysterious noises and banging on the door. Eager to gather some more evidence of the whole saga, Sadie began to film and caught this.
Seguimos grabando porque no dejan de escucharse los ruidos. Son las 3:19 de la mañana. No dejan de escucharse las cosas. ¿Abre la puerta?
¿Qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? A ver, abren la puerta.
Cuidado, cuidado.
Yo primero.
Se escucha bien claro, pero no hay nadie. No hay nadie afuera de la casa.
Vale, sale para enfrente. Mira.
Solamente se escuchan todos. La gente ahorita a estas horas está dormida. No sabemos qué sea. Ya tenemos días sintiendo cosas extrañas. Últimamente se siente una vibra medio extraña. No sabemos qué sea. ¡Ay, Dios! ¿Viste la mona en la cabeza? La cabeza de la mona.
Es por los nervios, mi amor, es por los nervios.
Estamos solos. No sabemos qué hacer.
Me está dando el Parkinson.
Unsurprisingly, there was nobody behind the door, and it was evident that there was nowhere that the culprit would have been able to hide had it been a human. Furthermore, the doll/toy also managed to move on its own accord, which would have put the people present into a state of fear for many different reasons. To the surprise of everybody, though, they really liked the easy income that they were making from the overpriced rent, though, and still allowed Sadie to stay. But what happened 2 days later pushed them over the line.
Seguimos aquí en la grabación. Mi esposo fumando, que no falta el vicio. Mi hermana aquí casi llorando. ¡La puerta!
¿Quién anda ahí?
Vean, es que no hay nadie. No es nadie. Todo se ve absolutamente solo. No hay absolutamente... ¡Ay, esperen! ¡Ay, güey! ¡Las cielos!
Aquí están todas paniqueadas, todas asustadas.
Los perros ladran.
Vamos a ver para allá adentro qué se mira, qué se ve.
Los perros así toda... Los perros así toda la noche. Toda la noche. Desde las 3 de la mañana hasta como a las 4:30. Así están. Ciérrale, hija, por favor. La mona no la quisimos ya ni tocar. Vean.
Déjame, tengo miedo.
Vamos a ver allá. Pero no hay nada. escuchaste? Sí. ¿Estás bien, hija? ¡Ay, güey! No manches. Ve, ya córtale. Ay, no.
Se acaba de terminar, se cayó el aire.
Ya hay que dejar de grabar. Ya vamos a acostarnos. Ya, mañana será otro día. Vamos a descansar.
In this final clip of the saga, a lot of strange things happened, so I am going to cover the majority of them. First of all, the sound of the door knocking happened again, which caused the trio to group together in the sitting room before the man of the house opened the doors to investigate. Nervously, the women followed, but right behind them, the door was slammed without any logical and probable cause. In a rush, they all made their way back indoors because the situation had frightened them, to put it at a bare minimum, but everything carried on indoors. Falling objects were all over the joint, and it was safe to say there was no escape. Sadie was kicked out of the house and left to fend for herself once again. This next video was a product of Emax, who is a well-known ghost hunter who uses the very platform that you are using, YouTube, to document his ghostly findings. His main gimmick is exploring abandoned places which have any sort of ties that could lead to it being a place of paranormal activity, and he often finds some pretty good locations. In recent times, he explored an abandoned hospital deep in Taiwan, known for its random surges in spiritual activity, and he had a good time when it came to gathering content during his stay. However, he did not feel like he managed to capture the full scale of how haunted this place truly was, and so decided to give it a second visit, and actually found more than he thought he was going to. Take a look.
Oh my God.
Surprisingly, there was a bang that came from deeper into the hospital, and this left Emax in a state of horror for quite some time, not being able to act upon it, other than slowly turning around to see if anything was with him. It was when he followed the direction of the sound that a door ahead of him creaked its way open, and Emax was given a real fright. This next clip requires a very attentive approach in order to truly understand what happened, and I would like to present it as a bit of a challenge. If you can spot what happened in this short, 50-second clip that showcased a paranormal presence, then comment down below and show everybody that you have some eagle eyes. It took place in the house of Kiki, who had 2 loving children at her disposal. They all slept in the same room, because she was a very paranoid mother when it came to things like the kids being at risk alone at night, and one day, they were. All sorts of odd sounds were echoing around the bedroom, and momentarily later, Kiki decided to film the situation, and then this happened. Remember to comment if you notice.
Ventana es la puerta del cuarto, la que están tocando, no mames. Hay alguien afuera de la puerta del cuarto, güey, pero no es un puto humano. Ay, no. Voy a sentar aquí porque ya se recorrieron mis hijos. Entonces.
No, te quitaste aquí.
¿Sí ven en dónde están mis hijos? Carajo.
Did you comment your answer? Well, if you paid close attention to the door in the background, you would notice that it was consistently changing its state from open to closed whenever it left the frame and rejoined it. This was very spooky, and upon realizing, Kiki made it her mission to find an exorcist. Being a security guard must be one of, if not the most frightful job around, and that is specifically applying to the ones who operate in the nighttime. The feeling of being alone in a late and closed environment can make anyone feel vulnerable, and despite lots of training, even the most experienced of night guards tend to become nervous on certain shifts. That was the case for the one who captured the 3 clips that I am about to show you, who goes by the name of Ragulzu on social media, and what he captured during his shift at a local school was bewildering.
Y aquí en la escuela cuando empiezan a ladrar los perros así a llorar. Ah, visto. Ahí empieza a joder, como a golpear. Todas las noches hace lo mismo. ¿Qué pasa? Tempranito empiezan a hinchar las pelotas.
Somehow, despite the door banging for a good 20 minutes, and then proceeding to open, it was clear that nobody was residing on the other side, meaning that some sort of crazy yet logical solution happened, or it was a spirit. With one-off situations like this, it can be hard to differentiate and tell whether it was a ghost or not. But what if I told you that this was not really a one-off? This time around, Ragulzu was in the bathroom because the janitor had just finished in there, but had mistakenly left all of the lights on. When it came to matters such as this, the task was delegated to Ragulzu to sort things out, and in serious instances, he was paid more. But no amount of money would have incentivized him to go through what he did in that bathroom for a second time, on the spin. Some sort of moan or wailing sound echoed around the bathroom, and it was honestly quite disturbing. The fact that it was followed by the closing of the door, though, really put the icing on the cake, and made sure Ragulzu went home the following morning, debating whether or not his job was even worth what he was being paid. In order to have a valid reason to quit the job without a 2-week notice, Ragulzu needed a plan, and he came up with the perfect one. All he needed to do was set up a camera, relax, and hope he caught one more instance on video. And sure enough, the plan was a success.
Agua bendita. San Benito Padre, protege. Y basta, basta. Tiraron las tapas de la olla. ¡Ah, qué olor a podrido, Dios! ¿Se escucha? Ah, bueno.
Whilst he was filming, the cabinet door behind him slowly opened with a horrifying creaking sound, and Ragalzu indignantly walked out of the place after this, handing in his leaving notice. His boss could not argue after all. The evidence was concrete. The following video was captured by a man called Stephen, somebody with absolutely no ties to the paranormal. He did not believe nor interact with anything that linked to spiritual entities, so he is the last person that you would look at and expect to be in one of my videos. But of course, there is a first for everything. One day, Stephen was in his living room when he started to hear some mysterious noises ringing around his household. Immediately after hearing them, he started to film and went to investigate for the source of the sounds, and to his dismay, he caught this on camera.
I keep hearing weird noises and trying to figure out where it's coming from in the house. Oh my God.
When he came to the entrance to his kitchen, he realized that he had scanned the whole house and nobody was in there. Furthermore, the noises abruptly stopped, which was coincidental, considering it stopped just as he began to search. Right in front of him, a box slid from one side of his kitchen table to the other, and this freaked him out for obvious reasons. He had no clue how to advance after this and did not give us any future updates, meaning that the end to this spooky tale remains a mystery. Jackson loved his grandmother to pieces, and when she eventually passed away to cancer, he was deeply saddened. His grandmother was his best friend, and in order to make sure she was commemorated to the full extent, he volunteered to help his mother with everything, including clearing her household of items and working out what to do with them. This was meant to be a depressing but normal task, with no weird things happening other than the doom and gloom in their heads. But it did not take long for the grandmother's house to start showing signs of a poltergeist presence.
Yeah. It's quiet at the moment. You don't really see anything. What the hell was that? Someone just moved it. Just had a bang. Jesus Christ. Look, you can see this is like... You can see there's nothing on it. God, it must have been heavy to be able to move that.
Strangely, the cross moved without any sort of probable cause, and it was clear that nothing visible had made this occur. Jackson's grandmother was a deeply religious woman, so it would have made sense for her to lead Jackson to the cross, and therefore show him that she was there at heart. But of course, there could be a far worse meaning. One thing that spirits enjoy playing with is the cross, especially evil ones, and this was a telltale sign that a demon could have infested the house. But hoping this was just a coincidence, Jackson and his mother continued their task.
God, that was scary. What the hell?
What's that?
Santa fell.
What did that fall on?
It fell from there.
What did it break?
Nothing's broken. It just fell from there. It was literally there. I don't want to put it back in case it drops again. It was just up there and it literally fell.
Shut up, stupid.
See, she don't believe me. Weird. Did you see that?
What?
The card just fell.
What card?
That one there.
No, I didn't see it fall.
Yeah, because you haven't been watching. So she just ignores it. She thinks there's nothing going on.
There's time to play about them later. This is supposed to be a party tonight.
Oh, I don't remember that moving.
What is it?
Did you see that?
No.
Stupid games.
Stop it, Nathan. Stop.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing anything. I told you I'm not doing anything.
You're not funny.
No, I'm not funny.
Funny at all.
This time around, a Santa ornament from a few Christmas seasons ago fell to the ground with a loud thud and startled Jackson's mother. Unfortunately for Jackson, she thought that he was being silly or attempting to prank her, so he was not believed. That must have been a painful thing to endure. It is horrible not being listened to despite telling the truth, and the spirit unfortunately made Jackson so through that. Tim Saver was a security guard at the storage unit for large-scale companies, meaning some of the items stored in the facility had valuable assets that, if lost, would put him in grave trouble. This is why he took his job very seriously, and no matter how spooky or creepy something became, he would prevail, and he stuck to his word in the video that you are about to watch. Tim was working late at night and patrolling the storage units when all of a sudden he heard a bang from one of the units. In case of an intruder, he approached the unit, which happened to be opened by a crack, and slowly entered. This is what happened.
I was hurt during this encounter. This is not the same entity. It's not her.
Please protect me, God. I guess we're doing this.
Hello? Hello? Who's there? Hello?
Rather than a person being in there, the unit had some mannequins inside of it, and one of them slowly creeped forward, presumably to frighten Tim, but he was not quite fazed. However, in order to push him onto the edge of insanity, the spirit toppled the mannequin to the ground and threw glass everywhere, forcing him to run away and press his red button to bring the police in. After a search, they found nobody and nothing was missing. The event was labeled as paranormal, and the storage unit paid a small compensation fee to the owners of the unit that this occurred in. Elias Samael is a name that you will be more than familiar with if you are a regular on this channel, because his place of residence has been haunted for so long that he has lost count. He always seems to be uploading new videos to TikTok about hauntings he has come victim to gather as much evidence as possible. And the one that I will be exposing your eyes to shortly is no different. He was relaxing when all of a sudden he felt the need to record due to his body becoming cold, and this is what he managed to capture on his camera. Take a look.
Amigos, ¿qué tal? Estaba descansando un rato, pero oí un ruido y creo que se movió la tabla, porque escuché que se movía y vi y sí se movió. La verdad, no sé, como les comenté en uno de los comentarios o en uno de los videos también, y desde que le hice la oración del Salmo 91, perdón, ya miren eso, amigos, eso es lo que les digo en el video, que desde que le hice eso, creo que rompí el conjuro y tengo que apurarme a conseguir lo que necesito. Aquí se está saliendo de control todo nuevamente. Madre mía. A eso me refiero, amigos.
Somehow, his whole Ouija board setup collapsed to the ground, as if someone or something had shoved it, and this terrified Elias, despite his long history in dealing with the spirit. He was now seriously deciding whether or not to take action upon the spirit and contact an expert to try and banish it, but the fear of angering it lingered even more in his head, and he was still convinced that he could live with it for longer. Subscribe for more updates on Elias. Mykolenko is a name that we have not come across in quite a while on this channel, and I will explain the reason why momentarily. Firstly though, I think I should reintroduce him for the new viewers on this channel. Mykolenko is a top-tier ghost hunter with a success rate in banishing ghosts that has never been seen before. He only accepts jobs that pay a ridiculous amount of money because he knows how high-profile his portfolio is, and the price sum of the ghost hunting job he was conducting in the following video was upwards of $2,000. Mykolenko took a short break from ghost hunting recently because he somehow failed a job and lost all of his self-esteem, but realizing that he was nothing without his passion, he came back with a bang, and here are the clips from the haunted house he was hunting in.
меня, блядь, не упал.
For some mysterious reason, the television was shaking aggressively, and after hearing it from the room adjacent, Michaelenko went to investigate. Whilst he was analyzing the situation, the television fell towards him, and what it revealed was shocking. It revealed a golden cross, which was surprisingly good news for the high-tier ghost hunter. It meant that the house still had some purity to it, and banishing the spirit would be fairly easy, but first he needed to gather more evidence of its presence. There was no better place to do this than the mine shaft below the house, where the person that the spirit used to embody, Andrei, was buried in his grave, and going there was a very good choice.
Здесь очень-очень холодно. Что такое? Блин. Какой-то шум. Что это сейчас было? Андрей! Андрей, ты здесь?
Она ушла.
А где ты? Твоя могила здесь?
Да.
Michaelenko used a box that supposedly translated what the spirit was saying, and it was claiming to not be in the room with him. He continuously beckoned it to tell him if it could see the light, and eventually, after countless times of being asked, it said the word yes. It was at this point that the apparition of a young child that did not match 30-year-old Andrei's image to run across the camera, showing Michaelenko just how haunted this place really was. The cleansing of the house took place 2 weeks later, and Michaelenko was paid his $2,000 due to a success. This was fortunate, due to how haunted the place really was. A paranormal surge is when the rate of paranormal activity goes from a number as low as 0 to a number as high as 100 on the scale of extremity. The video that you are going to see shortly took place during a paranormal surge that Francesco, the man behind the camera, was lucky enough to catch on camera. He was filming a house tour for his friends, who were wondering how suitable the place would be for a party to be hosted, when suddenly all of this craziness started to happen.
¿Tem alguém aí? Foi você, Branca? ¿Quién está ahí? ¡Uy! ¡Uy! Alexa, liga a luz do banheiro, Alexa.
Tudo bem.
Não pode ser. Ui! Quem tá aí?
From doors moving on their own accord to a shadow figure gliding across the doorway, it was clear that nothing that happened in this video was natural. After the recording, Francesco sent the footage to his friends in order to get their verdict, as well as posting it to social media, and everybody had the same reaction. Move the heck out. This is why Francesco and his girlfriend moved house 2 weeks later, and since then, nothing of the haunted sort has happened. Josh and Crystal were two siblings who went heavily against the stereotype of siblings arguing all of the time. They were both amazing to each other and realized the true power of having a sibling who could act as an ally rather than an enemy, ready to defend each other no matter what came their way. One evening, they purchased a hotel to stay in overnight whilst they waited for their flight to Switzerland. The family had all planned a holiday, and they were not about to say no to a European adventure. Little did they know, though, that during this hotel stay, something would happen that they would remember as a negative memory for the rest of time.
It's okay. I can see you. Come to me. Are you a little boy? It's okay. Come here. It's okay. I don't know if my eyes are playing tricks on me, but it looks like it's going like back and forth. You see a movie? See a movie? It's okay.
No, wait. Come back.
Where?
No, you come back. Go straight, look straight towards me. No, turn towards me like you were earlier. Put your back towards me.
Both siblings noticed a shadow in the doorway, and Crystal believed that it was a shadow of a little boy, hence why she was so open and friendly to it. Viewers did not think the same, though, and thought the shadow had no resemblance to a kid. That was until Crystal looked away and the shadow of a young child ran across the doorway. The reason for this is still unknown, but the siblings reported the video to hotel staff, who gave them 50% of their money back. And in my opinion, even that was not enough for what the siblings went through. Cody was home alone a lot of the time and had gotten used to looking after himself. His parents intentionally left him sometimes in order to raise him to be independent, and it definitely worked. The main reason that they allowed him to be alone so much, though, was because both of his parents loved holidays, and him being able to cater for himself meant that they could travel all across the world without worrying about their son. One half-term, both of the parents booked 3 days off from work to visit Greece and left Cody by himself. He was relaxing in his room on the first day when he heard a loud bang from outside and decided to investigate. What he managed to capture on camera that night was for certain the most horrifying and unsettling thing that he has ever laid his eyes upon.
Okay, so I was in my room, I just heard a loud ass bang, and I know I have to record this so someone can believe me. Hello? What the f? That's my sister's dog. What the f?
Cody made the correct decision to not open the door because that would have been a silly way of letting a spirit into the house. Despite these precautions though, it was clear that an entity was already present within his four walls and took it upon itself to create a mess. The following video took place in an Armenian household and was captured by a man called Ragalzu. He was your standard man. He had 3 children, a loving wife, and a very well-off income. But he had a hobby which did not make sense considering all this success. He often visited haunted locations because he, quote, enjoyed the thrill of being in life-threatening danger. And as I said, considering his success, this made 0 sense. The video that you are about to see took place during one of his adventures in an abandoned house in rural Armenia, and what he caught on video was wild.
Y segundo, que la batería del teléfono me dure. Uy, hijo de puta, cogió la par mía. Ariel Jiménez, hola, buena. Tocayo, tengo el mismo nombre y apellido. ¡A la verga! Les dije. Corrió a la par mía, giré y me cerró la puerta atrás. Qué lindo, ¿no? Ah, gritaron. Están gritando afuera. Ojalá que... Ojalá que se haya grabado bien todo. Literalmente corrió a la par mía, que escuché el... Así, me doy vuelta y cierro la puerta. Mira, 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 mira. La está viendo. ¿Te paso papel? Nah, chifo. Permiso. Ok. Tiriri, tiriri, tiriri. Ah, su puta madre. Tanto a joder con la puerta.
From the peculiar noises to the doors moving without any visible force acting upon them, it was clear that paranormal activity was at a high in this place. Furthermore, Ragalzu claimed to have felt awfully cold all of a sudden when the paranormal stuff began, which is a telltale sign of a spirit being present. Going out late at night can be a scary experience, especially in a place that can become as sketchy as the streets of Mexico. This clip was filmed by a young man called Stefan, and he was out late after walking his girlfriend back home from the bar like a gentleman. He made it to the train station to get back home when he noticed a gateway opening and closing by itself. Instinctively, Stefan took out his phone to record the incident occurring, and to his absolute joy, the spirit did not halt in its antics.
Mira, cosas que pasan en Barranco, en el Metropolitano.
Oh, qué miedo.
This phenomenon was unexplainable because, as you can see by the lack of movement, it clearly wasn't a windy day in Mexico. On top of this, the gate was supposed to be sealed, and after the clip surfaced, the operator who sealed the gate promised that he did it that night. The chances are that this was more than likely a ghost caught on camera. On March the 8th of 2025, Emma had just completed one of the best nights of her life. You see, she had turned 18 the day prior, so all of her friends slept over, and once they all returned back home, Emma retreated to her room for a recovery, so she would be okay to attend college the next day. Immediately after jumping into bed, her lights were out, but surprisingly, her day had one more surprise in store for her, but it was far from a pleasing one. On the other side of the door, Emma could hear some creepy dialect, and she started to realize that it kind of sounded like somebody she knew. Her friend, Nicole, had only left the house 10 minutes prior, but she had 100% driven away, and the door had been locked, so it was not her. Whatever this spirit was trying to do, it clearly had negative intentions, considering it mimicked the voice of somebody close to Emma to try and invade her space. Fortunately, she did the wise move and ignored the mimic and gave it absolutely no attention once the video ended. This proved to be an amazing choice because slowly but surely, the human sounds started to drain out and Emma was ready to jump back into bed, but for some reason, the mimic struck again.
And this is why I can't call the cops, because when I go to look, there's no one there. I know it's hard to see, but I'm not opening the door. There's like no one out there, and like, this is a window. There's no people, but this is a window, and you can't really see out there. It's hard to see out. So I don't know what the hell is going on.
This time, as well as using its voice to mimic that of a loved one, it was scratching on the door, which added much more tension to the situation. As well as this, Emma decided that this time around, she was going to get proof that nobody was sitting on the other side. She filmed through both windows with an angle on the door, and to her dismay, nobody could be seen on the other side, making this whole saga unexplainable. Dua Lupe, not to be mistaken with the music artist Dua Lipa, is a popular social media influencer known for the combination of her attractive looks and paranormal content. She first started uploading videos centered around the paranormal universe quite some time ago, and it acted as a huge funnel for viewers to come into her TikTok page, so she did the only logical thing and rode the wave. She continued to visit some of the most haunted places on the planet, but none managed to deliver her true dream. Dua wanted to witness an apparition. An apparition is when a poltergeist reveals itself physically to the human eye, and these instances are far more rare than any other paranormal incident. did she manage to capture one on camera for the first time in her life at this haunted shack? Well, have a look and find out for yourself.
Me estoy quedando en una cabaña por el cumpleaños de mi hermana y enfrente hay como una cabaña así como pero abandonada chiquita y es como una casita del árbol así como para niños, no sé, por eso se ve muy tenebroso. No sé si se vaya a caer esto porque está como todo podrido y no veo como para encender las luces ni nada. Mira, allá está la cabaña y no tiene luz. Hay como una mesa, hay ganchitos de ropa y televisor.
If you were watching closely, you would have noticed the apparition that appeared 6 seconds into the clip. Its head slowly poked around the entrance to the shack before it ducked behind cover again, never revealing itself to the human eye again. Despite evidently feeling fear in the moment, Dua was pleased deep down that she finally managed to experience something of this magnitude and had documented it on YouTuber. Her dream had finally been completed, and this proves that spirits don't always encourage discomfort and negativity, even if they intend to. Hotels are some of the strangest places out there, and people don't know why. For some reason, they just tend to have an odd feeling about them, not to mention that a large portion of them have had paranormal reports throughout their history. It does make sense, considering how many people actually stay within them over their lifespans. Anyway, the video that we are about to watch together came from a woman called Avery, and she worked at the hotel. One day, when a bunch of people came around, none of them wanted to stay in room 205, so she did her job and investigated it. These were her findings.
Okay, so I'm here at work tonight, and we have workers that come here that work on the railroad. I checked in 5 of them, and the second floor is where they usually go because that's where all the king suites are at. Well, they're all saying, please don't put me in room 205. I'm like, okay, what's wrong with 205? And not one of them would tell me what was wrong with 205. I said, is it haunted? Like, really, what is it? Nobody can tell me nothing. So, how about me and you, all of us, go up to room 205 and see why no one wants to rent that room. So, hold on just a second. Okay, walking up there now. Going up the steps. How's everybody's night tonight? Hopefully it's good. Oh, these stairs kill me. Okay. I might have to turn the camera around, so I'm not very good at this, so just bear with me. All right. It's like really cold in here, though. Like, really cold. And the air's not even on. I mean, I don't see anything. So maybe we can sit. Yeah, the air and stuff's not on. Maybe sit in the dark. See if we can hear something. I don't know. I don't know what else to do. I'm gonna probably lose all my views for my people watching, but okay, let's do this. Oh, God. All right, no, I'm out. Okay, I guess I just got my answer. Oh my God, going back to the front. Oh my gosh. Oh goodness. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but I guess I got my answer. Okay, I think it is haunted. All right, have a good night.
Surprisingly, nothing happened up there. Well, at least on the surface level. After playing the clip back a couple of times, you start to notice that when she walked through the door, a voice could be heard, and it did not take me long to decipher what it said. "Hey" was the lone word, and if that was not the spirit inviting Avery in the room, I'm not sure what on earth else you could pin it to. Mirrors are known to be the closest thing to a spiritual gateway, and it is unknown as to why they have this reputation. One common superstition is that a mirror on the side of the wall acts as a portal to the underworld, and a surprising amount of people buy into this theory, one of those not being the boy in the upcoming clip. He was alone in his room jamming out to some music when his eyes detected motion in his doorway. Confused, the boy's eyes drifted to the door, and what he witnessed was beyond the unexpected. Take a look.
Oh my god, bro. I just seen the craziest shit. Look, over there. Over there, I just seen the craziest shit. Look! Oh my god. What was that? Oh my god. Oh my god, what is that? I'm like shaking right now. What is that? Look it. Watch, it's gonna do it again. It's gonna do it again. Look at that! Nah, bro.
Whatever that thing was, it was not human, and there are several reasons why. First of all, its entire figure was blacked out, and before you say it was all a shadow, the shadow was behind the blacked out part disproving this. Furthermore, the boy was home alone, and they had a lot of security, so a break-in would not have gone unnoticed. There are no excuses for this event. Of course, there will always be doubters though, and the audience of this clip were no different. This is why the boy uploaded a second clip, and this one was even harder to deny.
Look, there it is again. Holy shit. Look, even the cat's tripping. Even the cat's tripping. Last time he'll tell me to go look. I'm going to look. 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 It's literally just the bathroom. Look. Oh god. Don't ignore that. But, look. Windows closed. There's nobody in here. It's just dirty. I'm just not... Like, what is going on, bro? Look at that. What?
This time he went and explored where the casting was coming from, and sure enough, there was nobody on the other side. Could this have been a concerningly coincidental casting from outside the house, or was there truly a spirit inside? Comment your opinions down below. Chase and his wife were staying at her grandpa's house after he recently passed away, and the reason was rather sad. The funeral had been arranged in a church local to where he used to live, but he lived quite far away, so they used his house as accommodation for the night before a new family started the process of moving in. The house already had a gloomy and unfortunate vibe to it, but when this happened, that feeling was only elevated.
How you doing? You okay?
I don't know.
So, we were just going to bed and we're not let me just show you. Like, we've literally had to put the bag up against the door because we're not sure. And like, we're literally just... Okay, so we're leaving. We got all of our stuff packed. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, we're out of here. I'm leaving, like, I don't know what's going on.
All around the house, the doors were knocking and shaking, and this was unexplainable considering Chase and his wife were the only two humans in the house. They decided to leave the household and go to stay in a hotel elsewhere, but perhaps this was the wrong decision, because what if the ghost was in fact the grandpa of Chase's wife? When Jake Slater found out that he was going to be home alone for the night, he knew right away what he was going to do. He was going to invite his best friend James over to the house so that they could have a sleepover together without his parents noticing. Their sleepovers were always the best, but never actually involved any sleeping. A spirit made that for definite in the clip that you are about to watch. Nobody would be able to sleep after such an event, and unfortunately for Jake, he had to stay in that room for the upcoming nights, whereas James could just go home. Have a look.
How about this? How about I date your mom and make your bedtime 2 hours earlier? No talent piece. Keep it up with the insults, and there will be no West Point 8. Do you get what I'm saying, bitch? I will bury you and your sister in the sandbox. Do not text me. Your move, Four Eyes.
Dude, look at my sign just started moving. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a ghost in my house. On my bedroom. I've been doing it for like 3 minutes. Weston just left. He started doing it when he was here.
Really? Where's he going?
I don't know.
Is he going out?
What is it doing? Are you kidding me?
Sage, what are you doing?
My sign is moving.
Outrageous. Outrageous.
No.
What's up? What are you doing?
Accompanied by some strange sounds from the other side of the door, Jake's sign started moving on its own accord, and even continued when he started filming it at a closer angle. This movement had no probable cause, and even after ending the video, the two of them were scanning the surrounding area of the sign, and to their dismay, there was nothing that could have made this happen. James quickly got an Uber home, leaving Jake by himself in the house with absolutely no means of escape, without getting into hefty trouble from his parents. Quite a tough situation to say the least. Despite having many appearances on this channel, Donna Ayres is a name that we have not come across in quite some time, and I was beginning to think that her spirit had finally left her be. However, just as I was certain of her safety, another video surfaced that was just as haunting as the rest. For those of you who are new to the channel, Donna first started experiencing paranormal activity shortly after her father passed away, and a lot of the things that the ghost did replicated what he did in life, so it was too coincidental for her to not think he was behind everything. One thing that he took great pride in, for example, was his guitar playing abilities, and this video encaptivated that.
Just done Ouija board guide, and my guitar started singing, so I just thought I'd capture it. There you go, I don't know if you can hear it, but... it's singing. And before you say there's no one behind there. Look. Fuck. I don't know if you can hear it, guys, but my guitar's playing. So does someone want to explain how this is possible then? Bit strange if you ask me, mate. And there's something here, I can feel it. I can feel it. Is that it? There you go, another one.
Even after passing away and becoming a poltergeist, Donna's father still had it in him to play the guitar, even if it was just one string at a time. Of course, it is cool for us to watch this clip, but for Donna, this was horrifying after such a long pause from the paranormal world, other than using Ouija boards. She was quick to throw the guitar into the outdoor trash and put the trash can out the front so that the garbage men could collect it the next day. Subscribe so you do not miss future Donna appearances on the channel. Most of the paranormal experiences that I document on this channel are complex findings that even the most expertised of people cannot explain. However, the following video is on the more simple side of things, but has some very interesting lore. A young couple decided that they were going to get a cruise together that would carry them all around the Caribbean, and they had been saving up money to get this cruise for ages. They knew before booking that this cruise was the home of a small-scale murdering where somebody killed a pair of siblings, but with no belief in spirits whatsoever, they got on board regardless. This turned out to be a mistake. During their cruise, both the boyfriend and girlfriend went through several ghostly experiences and managed to catch one of them on camera. Here it is. The chair was moving around gently, as if somebody was pushing it, and this phenomenon was not able to be explained. After watching the clip back several times, it is clear that nobody or nothing was interacting with it, and it is safe to say that the couple now believe in a spiritual world. Tea is a very popular drink throughout Britain, and a man called Harry Aspinall visited the same cafe every Sunday to drink it. He visited this cafe because the staff there were beyond lovely, and he had gotten to know some other regulars there, which made it a nice social time for him after retirement. An important note to make is that before this video was released, there had not been a singular report regarding paranormal activity in the cafe, and this one was the first one to exist, making it ever more weird. While the haunting may not have been much, it was definitely something, and Harry could not believe his eyes. Somehow the cup of tea slowly moved across the table, as if a human hand was guiding it, but it did not take a magnifying glass to see that nobody was pushing it. What made this clip even more odd is that ghosts don't tend to listen to their victims when it comes to commands, but this one seemed more than willing to move the mug on command rather than coming to a halt after being asked. This begs the question, was the spirit really there with the intention to frighten, or was it simply after a nice interaction with the man, but couldn't due to its invisibility? I guess we will never know. The following video was recorded in the household of Richard, and his family was starting to increasingly believe that he was going crazy, and even went so far as to book him an appointment at the doctors regarding the state of his brain. They believed that something was wrong with him because he would continuously claim that their youngest child's new toy would move when nobody else was in the room, and of course, no one at all took his word for it. Fortunately, Richard persevered and stuck his foot down on what he saw, vowing to record the incident the next time it happened. And so one day, when his wife left the room, he took out his phone and began to film.
Swear down, this toy just moved. I've seen it move before, but I've never thought to film it. If somebody's moving that, can you move it again, please? All my days. Yo.
Here we go.
Mate, you serious? Yo, how this? Yo, that's some spooky shit, that.
Just as Richard had explained, the toy first turned itself on in a quick fashion, before lunging forward at a rather quick pace. In this situation, most people would escape the room in fear, but the last thing running through Richard's brain was that of terror. It was that of relief. He showed the video to his wife and his 2 eldest children, and they called off the doctor's appointment, going as far as to apologize to him too, and rightfully so. Perhaps they were the crazy ones after all. Similarly to Richard, Wendy was another woman who had quite a few children and was adamant that the youngest child had a haunted toy. She had purchased her son a toy car from the local toy shop roughly 2 years ago, and he absolutely adored it. Its battery power allowed it to light up and say phrases which he found really cool, but one day it stopped working and the toy was left to collect dust. Throughout the years, Wendy was certain that she heard the voice lines of the toy whenever she walked past the box that it was in, but unfortunately never got any proof that this actually happened to her. This is why she took the toy out of the box, placed it on the floor, and started to film to see what would happen, and here is what she found.
Holy fuck. This is not a remote control car. And it has not worked in a long time. There's no batteries in it. This is really messed up. And somehow it's coming right towards me. I'm sitting here putting Ella's clothes in baskets, and this thing just randomly started moving all the way from Zane's door to here. It's not a repeat, not a remote control car. And there's no batteries in it.
The toy made quite a few movements and was edging itself towards Wendy in an eerie fashion. Not only had it been broken for months, but it also had no batteries in it, so it was impossible for this to occur. But it did. We all know that spirits can make the impossible possible, and this was a strong case of that happening. Boys' group chats often come up with some of the craziest plans, and most of them never make it out of the chat. However, this was not the case for a group of 4 boys who had all planned to rent out an Airbnb for the day on Easter and have the best Easter of their lives. They had all saved up to live this dream day for quite a long time, because renting a house is not cheap, and when they finally pulled up in the driveway at 3 a.m., they realized that this was really happening. To their dismay though, they heard some horrifying sounds coming from inside the property, so decided to look over the wall and check it out. They did not expect to find what they did. There was a woman who they believed was having some sort of seizure outside of the house, and they quickly dialed 999 to come and resolve the situation. An ambulance arrived within 5 minutes and took her to the local hospital to be treated, but upon arrival, everything stopped and the woman returned back to a normal state. Many people believe that she had been possessed. The Midwest ghost hunter is a man who fears nothing when it comes to the paranormal world, and you would expect that considering he searches for spirits as a full-time job rather than a hobby. In the video that you are going to be exposed to in a very short period of time, he was adventuring within a haunted manor that had some deep lore regarding abuse and murders, so it made a lot of sense that it was haunted. The Midwest ghost hunter, named Ian as his legal name, did not expect it to be haunted enough to produce a haunting like this though.
Somebody over here? That was so weird. All right, time to check out the second floor. Is there anybody up there? Hello? What the heck is that? If that was you, could you make that sound again? Oh, whoa. Whoa, what is that? What is that? There's like a weird anomaly up there. It was behind the railing. It was right up here. Oh! What was that? What was that? That sounded like a little girl. Oh my God. You're. Who the heck is up here? Hello? Whoa. Oh my God. It just flew that way into this hallway. Whoa, the door's shut.
This was an apparition in the form of an orb, and these are quite rare, but are one of the most significant features when it comes to telling you that a ghost is present. This was accompanied by the voice of a little girl, which made it obvious that someone or something else was in there with Ian, but he was not fazed, and he continued his adventure. More clips from this ghost hunt will be in upcoming Haunter videos, so subscribe. The following video took place during mid-2022 and was a part of a large ghost hunt. A man called Ellis, alongside his partner Sylvia, were both fond of exploring haunted territory, and they often came across some interesting stuff. I chose this clip because of the importance of the location. The building was on the same street as the graveyard in which the father of Ellis had been buried after unfortunately passing away. Sylvia had always wanted to visit the place, but of course, since Ellis had his dead father nearby, he was not so keen, but she managed to convince him. This is a clip from their adventure.
¿Y qué puedo hacer? ¿No puedo abrir la puerta? ¿Sí la pude abrir, mira? ¿Sí? ¿Sí la pude abrir, amigos? ¿Será? ¿Sí la pude abrir, amigos? ¿Me meteré? ¿No va? ¿Para qué va? Porque no va a ser que me regañen, va. Vamos a ver si nos podemos meter, amigos. Vamos a ver si nos podemos meter. ¿Hay alguien aquí adentro? ¡Uy! Cerraron la puerta. No me meto, madre. No me meto. Amigos, cerraron la puerta. ¿Quién eres? ¿Quién eres? ¿Quién eres? Se miró bien clarito, amigos. Como que alguien está aquí adentro. ¿Hay alguien ahí? Uy, Gary. Mira, se volvió a abrir la puerta, Gary. Se volvió a abrir la puerta, ¿lo viste? ¿Hay alguien? ¿Hay alguien para acá? Sí caminó alguien.
Una sombra blanca azul.
¿Hay alguien aquí? ¿Qué es? Mira. ¿Lo viste? ¿Quieres que me meta? ¿Dónde estás? Me voy a meter. No me meto, no, ¿qué me anda metiendo?
Es que no te debes meter a las capillas.
Alguien está adentro, Gladys. Mira, ¿viste que se abrió y se cerró? ¿Quién eres?
They heard a lot of noises from the inside of this room, and that is what prompted Ellis to start recording the situation. When his phone came out, the haunting stopped for a brief moment, and he was actually ready to end the recording. But fortunately, the paranormal levels spiked again, and he gained his evidence of the situation, and more importantly, content. After capturing this, Ellis thought that he had gained enough content from the building and prompted Sylvia to head home with him. Beforehand though, he wanted to visit the local graveyard to give his father a visit, but little did he know that this graveyard also had high paranormal activity rates.
Vamos para acá. Yo sé que te encuentras aquí. Vamos, amigos, clientes compartidas. Vamos a poner el Spirit Box, amigos, para ver dónde está esa mujer. Gracias, Adrián Pozos. Uy, que se cayó algo aquí. ¿Quién está aquí? Ay, Dios. ¿Hola? Uy, 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 alguien venía, no manches. ¿Quién se encuentra en este lugar? John Herrán. Gracias, Mata. Uy. Ay, Dios, se movió el vaso. Ay. Si estás aquí, manifiéstate, quiero verte. Quiero saber quién eres. Quiero que te manifiestes y estás aquí en este lugar. Miren. Ay, abajo se miró algo. Ay, abajo se miró algo, amigos. ¿Quién está hablando? No manches. ¿Estás aquí? Uy. ¿Estás aquí? ¿Aquí te encuentras? Vamos a poner Spirit Bots, amigos. Vamos a poner Spirit Bots. Bien.
The levels of paranoia were through the roof immediately after Ellis entered the graveyard, and he just had to take out his mobile camera again. This time he caught movements that were obviously not influenced by a visible force. Furthermore, it was not a windy night whatsoever, and was nowhere near windy enough to move objects. Paired with what he had seen in the building prior, Ellis was certain that this was a spirit, and assuming it was not his father, he left the site or as soon as he could. Lean loved being home alone, and he was not ashamed of the reasons why. Whilst he of course loved his wife to absolute pieces, something about being in the house all by himself was soothing to him, and nobody could change his mind. The lack of sound, the weight off from his shoulders, these were the times that he felt his most peaceful, but of course, spirits are not a fan of peace. In the video that you are about to be exposed to, Lean was relaxing in his bed, whilst no one else was in the household. He was content as ever, and was scrolling Instagram reels, but unfortunately, this piece had to come to an end. Have a watch.
Son 2:15 de la mañana. Estaba por contar que pasó una sombra caminando, sentí una presencia que pasó para el baño. Pasó una sombra para el baño, no sé si ir a revisar, se están cayendo las cosas acá. No sé si... Entró acá al baño, lo vi caminar, pero traspasó la puerta, es increíble. Muchos me dicen que grabe el espejo, pero no hay nada. No sé. Estoy grabando. Se escucha risa. ¿Qué es adentro? Es adentro. Acá se caen las cosas, ¿no? Ya no sé. Acá. No sé qué hacer, no. Se me está viendo opaco el celular. Se me está quedando como. Batería celular. No puedo grabar con. La concha de su madre. No puedo prender. No puedo prender el cel. No me deja prender el flash acá.
Things knocking over led him to his bathroom, where all sorts of objects were acting out of the ordinary. At the time, Lean was beyond confused, but happy to be capturing it on video, so that social media could help him out. The audience made him aware that it was a spirit that he was dealing with, and there was no other logical explanation to the situation, so he mindlessly followed their verdict, calling an exorcist to come and cleanse the area. The waiting time ended up being over 3 days, which was ridiculous in the eyes of Lean, but if he was asked to wait, then he didn't really have a choice. He was forced to put up with this poltergeist for another 72 hours at a minimum, and one more clip from his house surfaced during this time period.
Acabo de escuchar ruidos que vienen desde acá. Ahí lo acabo de grabar. No sé si lo grabé bien, pero se escuchó claro de acá. Sobre la caja musical. La concha de su madre. Y ese hijo de puta. No puedo prender flash. No puedo prender. Se prende la casa. Se acaba de poner la caja musical de vuelta. Ahí pude prender flash. Se acaba de poner de vuelta la caja musical. Concha de su madre.
This time it happened in a storage extension room towards the side of his house, and things were far worse than the bathroom incident. This is because, as well as regular objects collapsing to the ground and taking an almost self-controlling state, the dancing doll started to spin, and we all know that anything doll-related coming across as haunted is on another level of spooky. It was due to this reason that Lean placed the dancing doll box into the trash and immediately took the bag to the skip, so he would never see it again. The exorcism also turned out to be a success. Lean loved being home alone, and he was not ashamed of the reasons why. Whilst he of course loved his wife to absolute pieces, something about being in the house all by himself was soothing to him, and nobody could change his mind. The lack of sound, the weight off from his shoulders, these were the times that he felt his most peaceful, but of course, spirits are not a fan of peace. In the video that you are about to be exposed to, Lean was relaxing in his bed, whilst no one else was in the household. He was content as ever, and was scrolling Instagram reels, but unfortunately, this peace had to come to an end. Have a watch. Things knocking over led him to his bathroom, where all sorts of objects were acting out of the ordinary. At the time, Lean was beyond confused, but happy to be capturing it on video, so that social media could help him out. The audience made him aware that it was a spirit that he was dealing with, and there was no other logical explanation to the situation, so he mindlessly followed their verdict, calling an exorcist to come and cleanse the area. The waiting time ended up being over 3 days, which was ridiculous in the eyes of Lean, but if he was asked to wait, then he didn't really have a choice. He was forced to put up with this poltergeist for another 72 hours at a minimum, and one more clip from his house surfaced during this time period.
No, qué sensación fea, boludo. Pero sentí escalofrío. Yo sí, calor. No, mira cómo ha quedado, boludo. La concha de su madre. Allá está. ¿Silbido? Yo no me animo a ir allá atrás. Te juro que siento gente, mucha carga energética, pero mucha carga. No ganas hasta de llorar, les juro. ¡Ah, la mierda!
This time it happened in a storage extension room towards the side of his house, and things were far worse than the bathroom incident. This is because, as well as regular objects collapsing to the ground and taking an almost self-controlling state, the dancing doll started to spin, and we all know that anything doll-related coming across as haunted is on another level of spooky. It was due to this reason that Lean placed the dancing doll box into the trash and immediately took the bag to the skip so he would never see it again. The exorcism also turned out to be a success. One of the rarest things that we manage to catch spirits doing is getting physical with their victims, and when this happens, it truly is terrifying. It's enough not being able to see something that is emotionally tormenting you, but when you can't see something that is physically handling you, that is on another level of horrifying. The upcoming clip mixed this horror with the prospect of the haunting happening to a child, which just added to the severity of it all. If you get triggered by children being involved in paranormal activity, then brace yourself. It seemed that the poltergeist gripped the child by the ankles and dragged him towards the door before he had full control again. The way the child glided across the floor made this impossible to stage. And trust me, I like to catch a fake ghost video, so the fact that I believe in this one says a lot. Poor child. When you receive a camera motion detected notification whilst everybody is in bed, it can mean one of two things. Either the cat is up to no good, or something bad is happening and you have to check it instantly. Deciding to presume the latter was the case, the husband of a family decided to open his camera app, and what he saw was shocking. At first, he believed that their daughter was messing with the lights at 12 a.m. and was ready to give her a telling off. But after being convinced by his wife to analyze the footage, he did, and they both found out something bizarre. If you zoom in, you will see a bright-looking face, shortly followed by a pair of legs that step forward and then appear to disappear. After questioning their daughter, she claimed that she was in bed by 12 in the morning and they believed her, considering they usually hear her when she opens her creaky door to leave the room. Chances are she couldn't have snuck out, meaning that this was on a high-odds stake of being a spirit. The Midwest Ghost Hunter is a name that you have probably heard come up on this channel before, if you're a regular, and this is because of how many spiritual clips he has actually been able to obtain. With the sheer amount of haunted places that he visits, he is bound to gather a lot of interesting content, and it was no different in the video that I am going to be showcasing some clips from to you. The place in question was an abandoned sanatorium, and unlike most high-production paranormal channels, he went into this place with absolutely no one. No camera crew, no experts, and most importantly, no friends. How did this go? Well, have a watch.
Hello? Is there anyone up here? I keep hearing strange sounds up here. Who's up here? I'm getting the creeps already. The sounds came from this side. Hello? Oh, okay, I'm hearing more noises.
If that was you, could you make another sound? This is one of the rooms. One of the rooms I was hearing the noises. Are there any patients in here? I just heard a whisper somewhere in here. Hello? Who's in here with me? Could you tell me your name?
As you can see, it didn't take long for the ghost hunter to realize this was going to be a successful hunt, and that he certainly wasn't going to go ghostless for this entire journey, which has happened to him before in the past. This clip happened just 4 minutes after he entered the vicinity, which was very abrupt, and bear in mind, the first 4 minutes before this were full of sounds anyways, so the spirit was definitely trying to fulfill its role of scaring the man. Of course, being a professional ghost hunter, though he was nowhere near phased enough to abandon the mission, so continued to go. It was at the point that he started to use real equipment that the real juicy clips started to rise, though.
Oh, come on, Ian. Just go towards him. I'm coming towards you. Whoever or whatever's up here is giving me a creepy vibe. I wonder what would happen if I ran the spirit box right now. I think I'm gonna try it. Who's walking down this hallway? Doctor! It just said doctor! Doctor who? I don't know what that said. Could you say that one more time? The doorknob. Just grip that doorknob. Holy shit. Something gripped this doorknob. What the heck? I heard that. Did you just grip this doorknob? What the? Oh shit. I just felt like a force. It like pushed me to the side. I didn't feel anything, but it was like a force. It was like a force like pushing me this way, but I didn't feel anything touching me. That was so freaking bizarre.
After taking out the ghost box, some form of paranormal entity communications device, it said that the spirit in the hallway was a doctor, but this was not the concerning part. Shortly after this statement, it said no visitors, which indicated that the spirits were far from happy in his presence, and unfortunately, he did not hear it, which led to this final incident.
Man, they just keep coming. Oh, God. There's definitely somebody up here with me. What kind of spirit would haunt an attic in an old hospital? Something not good, right? What? Dude! Am I going crazy or did that just move? No fucking way! You see that? It was up against that wall. Those beams. Who moved this box? Thank you, whoever you are. How in the world do you explain that?
None of the clips so far had been physical movements, so it made a drastic change to the hunter when the box moved, because his analysis on the spirit's type would have shifted heavily. This is probably why he appeared to be frightened with such a huge reaction, because I assure you, with his experience, he was far from scared. The following video was captured by Sam, and he was not new to the paranormal world. In fact, he could be considered an expert. For 2 long and draining months, Sam had been constantly hit with paranormal surges in his house, and he has no idea where all of this sparked from. Before this time period, he didn't even believe in ghosts, but throughout it, they have become his biggest fear. Anyways, one of his big dreams was to catch his spirit doing its acts on camera, but to his dismay, every single time that he pressed record, the sequences stopped. However, one day this didn't happen, and Sam finally got the footage that he had been gunning for such a prolonged period. Take a look. All around him, things were happening, and so much occurred in such a short span of time. He was walking around the house to make sure that everything he needed to get on video was caught, and it is safe to say he had a lot of evidence of this spirit's existence. As well as uploading it to social media, he also contacted a ghost hunter and showed them the clip, which was able to get him an appointment. We wish Sam the best in banishing this long-serving spirit. On January the 14th of 2008, which is a very long period of time ago, a group of friends decided that they were actually going to investigate something weird that was going on. They were doing a common method of living for young people called rent splitting, where a group of friends all pay an equal amount to live in a home. Little did any of them in this situation know that the house they split on was a hellhole for ghosts. At random intervals, the people in the house would hear noise coming from the basement, and whenever they checked, things moved. One day, they took a camera with them and went to investigate the scene. This is how that turned out.
We've lived here for about a year, and we always hear noises coming from this place. We think it's a cat, but we go in there and stuff moves, and we turn on the lights and we look all over. There's no cats or there's no mice. There's no animals at all. You can't find any. But if you just sit there and wait, you see things actually move, and it's like you know, you shine lights everywhere. You can't see anything.
Turn on your flashlight. Okay.
No, but seriously, dude, if you die, I have to go home, and that's not very fun.
No, that's hilarious.
They locked it. What the fuck? This is so fucking
No, it's not locked, dude. Check it out. Do it again. Say that again.
This is so fucking creepy.
Dude, somebody's told to live down here.
All right, wait. We're okay. What are you doing?
Is it on?
Yeah, what's going on?
All right.
Dude, I'm not going in.
I'm not going. You don't fucking go.
Nicole, I think you should go.
Dude, there's spider webs. You know what?
All right, dude, fuck it.
I'm
Let's leave.
Just afraid of spiders. Dude, come on.
What? All right, let me get some footing here. It's kind of hard.
Dude, just go. Hurry up.
You fucking go.
Oh, shit!
shit! Dude! What the fuck? What was... Go get it, go!
Just like usual, something out of the ordinary happened, and they were all taken aback by this, the project leader specifically. He was the bravest of the bunch, and decided to enter the main basement first, but the poltergeist made it really apparent that he was not welcome there. Wisely taking the hint, they all agreed that they should make their way back to the main house for safety, and would never investigate the basement ever again. The sounds kept coming for the following week, and it was almost as if the poltergeist was begging for them to entertain it again, staying strong to their word, though none of the residents broke the idea and went into the basement. Little did they know that the spirit had power outside of it, and when it got bored, it decided to use that external power.
Yeah, a second ago that this sink was like doing some shit, man. Yeah, I think it looks like on now, like... Whoa! Oh! Let's see if it... I don't even like want to touch it. Okay, that's off. Now I turned it all the way on. It's just like sitting there. If you can hear me, show me a sign. Yeah, like that ever works. Whoa! Alright, that's enough. Dude, no, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Shit's crazy.
It took it upon itself to mess with the tap and turned it on and off at different speeds. Now many people would pin this to be some form of issue with the pipes, but it doesn't take a genius to disprove this theory. The fact that the man filming had to turn the tap to deactivate it shows that something else must have also physically turned it. This was certainly a ghost.